up to, thanks, Ash, who are stepping up to, share all their ideas. And what I would like to do is for everybody who is in Maui, I'm trying to see my whole screen here. We still have people jumping on. Why don't you just introduce yourself? Clark, I'm going to start with you, and then you guys can jump in right after Clark. Just unmute yourself.
Great. Welcome. Actually, good morning, everybody. It's actually 6 a.m. over here in California. Just had, hey, Tammy Jo, how you doing? Good. Hey, my name is Clark Broom, and I'm over here in actually Lincoln, California, Northern California, just a little bit north of Sacramento on the way to Tahoe. And it's great to be with you this morning. I don't know if you want me to give you my background or not, but
sure, give a quick background, and then we're going to jump to everybody that was in
sure.
Maui, and then we're going to come back with our ahas.
Okay. Well, basically, I actually grew up in a real estate family. My mom was a very successful realtor. In fact, the first lady board president of the PCAR, Placer County Association of Realtors. I resisted real estate for years because I was only 19 at the time and I was having too much fun. Then I got married, had a child, and decided I needed to do something different. Got involved in real estate, starved for the first few years like a lot of us did. And then finally figured it out, actually learned from some mentors. My mom was a good mentor. She never gave me any business, but she was a good mentor. And because she was obviously making her own living and raising 6 children at the time. And so I ended up kind of doubling my income for the first 5 years. Actually ended up with a few other partners buying a franchise, Northern California rights to Better Homes Realty at the time. And did real well. I was #1 in GCI in both Placer and Sacramento County for at least 1 year, and #3 in production. And then from there, actually diversified. A good friend of mine showed me a way to create ongoing income through building a network, and we did. We got involved in network marketing, built a successful business, lived pretty much financially independent for decades, and still have that income coming in. And then kept my real estate license for several years, and actually diversified into commercial real estate in the early 2000s. Became a #1 commercial agent for a small little company that I worked with, Centex. And then from there, actually ran across Brent Gove. Brent Gove, actually, I've known since he was 19. We kind of mentored him in a business many, many years back through his dad. And he was as dynamic back then as he is now, although he's absolutely taken that to a huge level. And so re-engaged kind of in the agent attraction area. Started a couple years ago and just having a blast doing it. And Maui was fantastic. And you got to be in that proximity. Cabo is going to be incredible. Cabo is my most favorite of the year. And it just being that proximity of successful people that think a whole lot bigger. And
you're right, Clark. Yeah.
Just being in that group. And of course, Gene Fredericks did a great presentation in Maui, and along with Brent Gove, and everybody who spoke was absolutely phenomenal. And that's just a little glimpse. It's like 10x to Cabo. And that's a little bit of my background. And Peggy, thanks for inviting me on today.
Cool. Well, we want to hear more of your ahas in a few minutes. Okay, who else was in Maui? Nikki. Good morning. We got to spend a lot of time together.
We did. Good morning. So for
Quick
those
background.
Yeah. Okay. Mickey McDougall. I've been with EXP since July of 2018. I've been around for a long time. I'm a 4-time Icon agent. I serve on your Agent Advisory Council at the national level. I have an organization of 65 agents here with EXP. That's me.
You're amazing, and you give so much. We appreciate it. Okay, who else? Tammy, you were there.
Hi. Yep. I've came over to EXP just a few months ago, a year and some months, but I was so energized after coming here, just sitting at the table. I took some great notes from another agent. Every time I sat down, like they were just so helpful. Just simple things like just energizing. You show up and bring up showing someone, like being helpful on another level with EXP was what resonated with me. I love the fact that they said, so if you get another listing in your neighborhood, be the helpful
Whoops,
agent. Go to them, ask them like, hey, if you lock the door, I'm there to help. You're just being an agent, very helpful. I thought that was awesome. Also, I got some stuff from Mark Versile, I guess his name was. But I'm trying to niche in on something like new construction, for instance. So he was like, make sure you just not only just be there, show up to the new construction sites, but give a brochure to them talking about what you can do to help that person while they're transitioning. Like, I thought making a brochure was kind of cool to give to the new construction rep there, just, I don't know. There were so many things, but the thing that I take away most was just like they said, being there at the table talk every morning. You're sitting next to these big, powerful players. They're giving away all information. If you just ask anything, it was like the table talk. I was literally at breakfast taking notes, because if you're not there, you don't know who you're gonna, who you're gonna be sitting next to.
So Tammy, tell us where you are real quick, and then I'm going to come back to your aha moments, because I want to get everyone introduced here.
In Ohio right now, Cincinnati.
In Ohio. Yep. Fabulous. I love it. Where is Jamie? I see you.
I'm here.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Okay, sorry. I had to get kids on the bus, so I'm a few minutes late here.
That's okay. Give us a quick background, and then we're going to come back to you. Tell us where you are and if you have a team or not.
Yes. Okay. So my husband and I have been selling real estate. Well, he's been licensed since '94. I've been licensed since 2006. We're duly licensed in Oregon and Arizona. We've been with EXP since 2023, so just last year, after dancing around the idea for about 4 years.
How many years did it take you?
4, with Brent and Jean and all the great, I said I won't even go if I'm not in a group that, like Clark says, you can rub shoulders with successful people that elevate you up to the next level. So anyways, that's that. And we've been to every single event since. And I don't know, that's us. That's me.
Cool. We'll come back to you. You just were so energized the first night I met you. David, you were in Maui.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
So David Gwilt out here in Los Angeles right now, which is where we were stationed for 10 years. So early morning. We're Tampa now, so we're bouncing between time zones on this trip, going from Florida to LA to Hawaii, back to LA, then back to Florida. We run a team across 6 states. Primarily, the 2 main states that we have agents right now are California and Florida. So all of Southern California, lots of Florida cities, and then a few other states. Yeah, the proximity, was great in Hawaii. The story that I shared there was, it was my goal last year with the org that we built to surpass my upcoming military retirement. I'll retire on March 1st of this year after almost 22 years of service.
Thank you for
in the Air Force. Thank you. And it was a goal I didn't know if we were going to meet. We've got, as I shared with some folks, is we're trying to resolve some of our org, but we have a lot of unproductive agents, unfortunately, within the organization, and quite frankly, even on the team. But we have 117 folks within my wife's organization. I'm nested underneath her. So we get 2 bites at the apple for the agents that are under me that do actually produce something. So that part's nice, but our rev share last year was 72,000. My military retirement, when I retire here in a month, will be 58,000 a year. So we met that goal. We've, more than doubled up on that now, if you will, adding that in. So that's been a huge bonus for our family.
Again, thank you so much for your service, and what I've loved, and we can talk more about it, but I just want to point out is that how long were you in the military for, and what was your pension again?
Yeah, so it'll be almost 22 years when I retire on the 1st of next month. My pension will be about 58,000. That's with the bachelor's and master's, top secret clearance, leading groups anywhere from 10 people to 100 plus people, and programs over $500 million in the military.
And then how much is your EXP so far, and how long has it taken?
Yeah, so we've been casually doing agent attraction for about 2.5, 3 years. And this last year, our rev share was 72,000. We closed out 2023.
That's amazing. 22 years in the military with your background, with all your service, putting your life on the line. The government gives you that, and you have been with us. And that's what I want the power people to see. But
Yep.
all right, we will get back to you
Huge.
on your aha moments. I see David McMillan has joined. And David, we're doing just quick backgrounds here. You and I met at your home in Breckenridge in September. And then you and Cheryl came out. And just give your background, because you're a mortgage broker and you're very important to this group and what company you're with.
Thanks, Peggy. Sorry, I was a couple minutes late. I was sitting in the wrong room. I did like Peggy Zoom or Zoom Peggy, and I was like, there's no way she's not doing this call. She's done it from the hospital room. so I thought maybe I mixed up Zoom and Peggy, and I did have it backwards. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I've been doing mortgages for a long time, 1990. So 34 years now, and with a great company called AP Mortgage, American Pacific Mortgage, one of the top 10 independent mortgage banks in the country. We do over $1 billion a month. Did 24 billion a couple of years ago in the peak of refis and stuff. And really, what I do now is I'm a regional divisional guy. Is I bring revenue to the real estate space. For my entire career, I've partnered with real estate companies. I had a marketing services agreement with Keller Williams for 10 or 12 years, to where we were paying them $50,000 a month. And I had loan officers in a half a dozen different market centers, and I've had joint ventures and different things like that, and set up these net branches, which are a P&L model branch for loan officers. Generally in the industry, we'll do that for top loan officers. Now I do it for teams and for boutique brokerages. Not even just boutique brokerages. I've got another one with Keller Williams right now, a small Keller Williams office. He just completed his first quarter at the end of December. And it's a small branch. He only did 10 loans, but he's $32,000 up. So just a little branch like that, he's making $10,000 a month. And now he's seeing it and really getting his agents to use this and recruit other loan officers and stuff like that. So generally, we've done this net branch model for loan officers. And I thought, the builders have this down pat, and they've been doing it for a long time. Why don't these teams and these brokerages do it? There's about, I'm going to say, 2.5 points in a mortgage on average. You pay the loan officer a point. Most loan officers will make 1.5 points maybe. But when you've got kind of a business arrangement, a strategic partnership with the real estate side, you don't really have to quite pay that much, because the reason loan officers make so much is they're out there bringing in the business, right? So if we've got the business there and we're giving it to them, they'll happily take a little less. So if you could average 2.5 points on a loan, pay the loan officer a point, you've got 1.5 points left over to pay some expenses, and then get some revenue. I mean, this guy's averaging netting about 1 point a deal, which is really good. He's got low expenses, hardly any, and good margins. So then he takes that money and does to grow his real estate side. So we can expense that P&L on the mortgage side and build that team and help the real estate side, help those agents, help recruit more agents, help lead generate, bigger splits, events, stuff like that. And then in addition to that, to get down to the individual agent level, just a year ago, HUD changed their guidelines on dual licensing. To be the owner of the branch, you don't have to be licensed, because we would hire this branch manager. We help manage it. I've got a whole, if anybody's interested, I'll go through my slide deck at some point, but we manage it for you. But if you're a non-producing branch manager, business development manager, you don't have to be licensed. But if we want to get down to the agent level, The agent individually can get compensated on a loan, but they do have to get licensed. So we show the agent how to get licensed. It's a 20-hour CE, and you have to pass one national test with a 75. So we show you how to take the test. We help them pass the test. And then we hire them as part-time outside sales. Now they're licensed, and we can pay the agent a origination fee. We'll pay a half a point, and then have a loan officer do the deal for it. And we can do that with it inside your branch too. So it helps the team lead, the broker, and it gets all the way down to the agent.
Do me a favor, David, put your info in the chat there, because you have so much knowledge, and you showing up at these events are amazing. Who did I miss anybody? Actually, check and see if somebody's raising their hand. Did I miss anybody that was in Maui? Okay, so what I want to tell you guys is that I was on fire. This event was epic. It was a small, intimate group. There were about 100 people there. And to get to spend time with Brent Gove and Gene Frederick and all the people here and other people who grew their teams was just crazy. I mean, you're in these rooms. And so I'm just going to go over a couple of key points, and then I want everybody else to jump in who was there. One of my biggest takeaways was that we need to step up emotionally. We need to be at our highest level emotionally, because that's where we need to play. Going into this year, so many agents say, oh, it's a bad year. It's this, it's that. That's bull crap. We heard agents talking at this event that were saying this is one of their best years. So how do you make it your best year? You hang out with A players. Right now, you guys are hanging out with A players, and that is going to bring your business up a minimum, statistically proven, a minimum of 15% when you keep showing up to these Zoom meetings and Gene calls and you go to the events. When you hang out with B players, what do you think happens? Your production goes down 30%. And there's no reason why you can't hang out with the best of the best with this company, because everybody has full access, right, Dee Dee? You're a brand new agent. You've been hanging out with everybody on these Zooms. You talk about how great your business is. The other thing that I want to talk about is that the room you enter matters. I know Tammy talked about that briefly, but when you get to enter these rooms, everybody's welcome at any room you want to go to at any time, right, Teresa Arnold? You can be just coming into this company, just coming into an agent, and you're welcome. Mickey, you and I talk about that all the time. We're doing that podcast on it about you deserve a seat at the table. And one of the last things that's important right now is that I really want you guys to please take notes. I know this is recorded, but it has been proven that when you handwrite notes, it goes up 60% in your memory. And when you go back and you teach it, it goes up 80% on retention. So your actions speak loud. Your words can lead others. It's so impactful to be here and keep showing up. So I want to jump in with Jamie. You came in, we were sitting there, and it was a windy time in Maui. I never went in the water. I never went in the pool. The first night I got there, I had a bowl of salsa fly all over me. And we didn't care. We were all just showing up. It didn't matter if it was raining, windy, cold, whatever it was. We created that storm. I'm convinced we were creating with all of our energy, all the wind that was flying around there. So Jamie, jump in. What were some of your aha moments from Maui? Aha, Maui. I kind of like that. Okay, you got to unmute yourself.
Hi. Okay. So for me, everything you just said, Peggy, but then just ahas of reminding ourselves, all of us, to think big at all times and to think really big, always have the right mindset, and already see yourself doing it. You know, ridding of the negative talk, and see yourself winning every day. And when you see yourself winning, your enthusiasm is going to sell, your clients are going to see it, your agents are going to see it through attraction. And so, and then really just the value piece, adding whatever value you can, and don't EXP over everybody, but doing like things like this that might be in your realm and in your space of, you know, where there's collaboration, but you're not recruiting them. So anyways, just that. And then a couple of other things. There were so many great stories just over and over and over, but as Brent hounds into all of us, you're going to fail. You're going to fail, and you're going to fail a lot before you're going to get it right. All those guys have had major failures over the years. Hearing some of their stories, it's just mind-boggling. They're even standing with the success that they have. And so get it over with, as they say, get it over with. And then, you know, you're going to kind of see those rainbows at the end, but just rubbing shoulders with successful people. We don't miss events. It's crazy because we've been invited to all these events for all those years, on the house, blah, blah, blah. And we never went. And when we decided we were going to make a change last March, we went to Cabo. And you know, like I said, we've never missed an event since. They are so important for so many reasons, to keep you, again, enthusiastic, to keep you learning, to keep your mindset correct. And then just being in the same room with these people of high levels, whether it be in agent attraction or sales, tend to lift you up to where you don't even realize what you're doing, but you're in their room, you're in their space, and you want to mimic all of the great tools that they're giving you. Another aha was Phil Stringer. I don't know if any of you guys know him, but he's our AI guy, guru at EXP. Phil was amazing. So just really getting on board with AI and utilizing those tools in our business. And then just last but not least, I can't remember who said it, but doing I think it was Jesse, 15 minutes a day. If that's all we did was 15 minutes a day of lead gen, whether that's following up with agents that we're currently trying to attract, or whether that's in our business, lead generation, however you want to do it, dumb it down to 15 minutes, set a timer. We all did that in our conference room, and it was incredible, just in that little amount of time with no other distraction and a timer going, how much we all got done and how many calls. Not in our room, we weren't making calls, but we were doing texts.
And we were texting.
We were texting. So if you want to do text messages, and that's kind of what Jesse was talking about, because doing your text messages and then seeing how many responses you get back just from that. And I thought, oh God, we do it throughout the day, but for 15 minutes solid straight, and just put your timer on. How cool is that?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because, you know, you're sitting there, you're all round tables, you're in a room that is, you know, high energy anyways, and you're like just listening, and all of a sudden someone says to you, Jesse says, okay, I'm putting a 15-minute timer on. I want every single one of you to get on your phone for 15 minutes and make as many contacts as you could. I think when we all reported back, was it like 800? It was some ridiculous amount of contacts collectively the group made. I mean, I sent out a text to an agent that I hadn't talked to in a couple of years. He's an owner in my old market center. We're going to have coffee. You never know what's going to happen. And we all have 15 minutes. You know, stop making excuses. That was the other thing that I learned from this, is stop getting ready to get ready. Stop making excuses. We're a production-based company. Yes, we love to attract agents and change lives, but our focus is our agents being the best they can selling real estate. Wouldn't you agree, Jamie?
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things that Jean, and I'll be done here, said is, his exact words, you can't, because people go, well, what about Real? And what about this? And other different, you know, competitors. I'm more on the agent attraction side, so I really took a lot of notes on that. But he says, you can't copy the people here. You may be able to copy the company, or maybe you can't, but you won't be able to copy the people. And that resonated with me too, because we really just do have some of the very, 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 very top producers in real estate in the world here at EXP.
Coming on a regular basis. And the other thing they talked about, just to kind of, and I don't want to get off on this attraction because there's so many other good things, but brokers are hurting. Independent brokers are going out of business. That is the biggest, you know, thing right now, of agents not being able, brokers not being able to pay their bills, agents struggling, not being able to have all the support and tools. We have over 80 classes a week, live classes from our top agents all over the world teaching. I want to give a plug to Phil, because he is going to be our guest speaker on the 21st of April. Check this dude out. He was on The Voice, and he got a billion with a B. He got a billion hits on his YouTube and his Facebook post, because he was the guy that was the only person on an American Airlines flight that was just flown back in October. So Google him. Love it. Who else wants to jump in with some aha moments that they took away? Thank you so much, Jamie. Nikki.
Yes, so I have pages and pages of notes here. But one of the things that always resonates with me at any of these events, especially these more intimate events, is being able to meet other agents from across the country. I'm looking at all the faces here and I was like, oh, Tammy Joe, that's the Tammy I met in Maui. Like, she's my new referral partner for Cincinnati. Excuse me. I see you on the calls, but it just now, you know, clicked. Oh, we met on the beach. So it's so important. Holly, I've seen her for years, and I was like, oh my gosh, Holly's here. I got to meet Jamie in person. I mean, it's like being around a bunch of celebrities. And when we meet together, it's, what's the old saying, Peggy, all tides rise together, or something like that. But so that's the most important part to me. I'll try to be quick. I highlighted a couple of things that I wanted to share. And we've all heard your actions speak louder than words, but when Brent said it, he said, your actions speak so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying. So like, don't just say you're going to do it, go do it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing was, the drops of sweat today will become the tears of joy tomorrow. And even rereading that now, it chokes me up, because this model's not hard, but it takes your commitment. And then the last thing, Brent said, the size of the window you give through will be the size of the window you receive through. And when he was talking about it, it was in reference to the fires that happened there in Maui. And so we collectively gave, but that stands true in everything that we do, whether that's your time or the shoulder to cry on, or your leadership, the ear that you lend to one of your clients. I mean, it really does matter. So instead of always reaching out and saying, give me, it's what can I give to you? So to be a servant. So just go to Maui, guys. You won't regret it. Or Cabo, rather. I'm sorry.
Cabo.
Mm-hmm.
So what we give, you know, everybody has different impressions of every real estate company you're at. I got licensed in 1984, guys. It's a long time for me. I've been at every company imaginable. And the culture, I thought we had an amazing culture at Keller Williams, which we did. The culture that I see here, just because we're, you know, in a cloud-based company, doesn't mean we lose culture. I have never in my life seen so much giving, so much collaboration. You could be a $500 million producer, and they're going to share with you. Correct? Dee Dee, I keep going back to your brand new agent. You've had top agents tell you any success that they wanted to. There is nothing else like this out there. There's no other
Indeed.
company.
Indeed, I'm so excited. Yes.
I guarantee you there's nobody else doing what we do. This Zoom is, yes, we've been doing it a year and a half, but it's just one of many. You know, what we also want to learn about is what your value proposition is. Because pouring into other people, like you said, Mickey, the size of that window is going to expand. So thank you. Clark, hey. Oops, unmute yourself.
Yep, I'm doing that. Wow, you know, just what everybody shared, just ditto on that. I think just one thing that impressed me the most, the first time I got exposed to an event with EXP, is just the collaboration. We're not in competition, we're in collaboration. And that is huge. And every event I've gone to, I've never missed an event. I recommend probably the best thing you could do for your future is never miss an event. And what's the secret to building this? It's show up and bring somebody. Bring somebody with you, whatever it takes. I mean, I've been working diligently all the way through Maui and the last month for Cabo, because I learned that the best thing to do in this business is build event to event, because they can, what they'll receive in an event is way more than you could give them ever individually. I mean, you don't have enough time in the world to give it, and you'd be very short in what you could give them compared to an event. We call it meeting magic. I mean, get around that, get around the people. This business is really built, the real estate business is built on belief. When you believe you can do it, you can do it. What's the old saying, and Brent quotes it all the time, is if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you're probably right. And so getting around that belief, getting around people, the stories were phenomenal. And I love the stories, people sharing their struggles, you know, the dream, the struggle, the prize kind of theme to it, and just what they went through, you know, just gives us belief. Sometimes we think when we're out there, you know, building this, working hard, selling properties, everything like that, and we're running across these challenges, sometimes we think that it's only happening to us. Until we hear somebody from stage share those same struggles or different struggles, maybe even harder struggles, and they made it through. And that just says, and it's kind of like the ultimate in communication is when somebody says to another person, "Oh, you mean you too? You have those struggles too?" And there's just that bonding that takes place. It's a team. And when you have a team together, you know, together everybody accomplishes more because we lock arms and we help each other. There isn't any challenge that can't be solved in real estate and in life that can't be solved by the people that we're associated with. They have all different levels of success and challenges and how they overcame things. And that's just very, very powerful. And the fact that people are willing to open up their playbooks to us. I mean,
So
you
Clark,
know, just everybody, you know, hey, this is how you, I mean, I've never run across that before. I mean, I owned a franchise, and we you know, we kind of held close to the vest what we did because we didn't want the competition to know and everything. And we're not competition. We're you know, comrades in this, and we collaborate with each other. And so, you know, the best advice I could give to anybody is do whatever it takes to get somebody to Cabo with you. I mean, obviously show up yourself, but bring somebody with you. And you know, just let them experience it. Get them in that environment. You know, set up coffee with some of the leaders at Cabo and get around them. And of course, they're going to get a lot out of the events themselves and the speakers and so forth. And one of the things that's really great whenever we do event, especially with Brent, is that he actually records all the speakers. And they're on brentgove.com. You just go to the YouTube channel. You'll see all the speakers from Maui there. Not all of them are on there yet because it takes about a week to get them all up there. You know, because they do their editing and compressing and everything to put it on YouTube. But visit that. Gene Frederick's talk was awesome. Just kind of the history. You know how he just so relatable and just, you know, so simple but very impactful. And Brent's talk was phenomenal. Jesse's talk will be on there too. And he talked about the 15 minutes, which you can accomplish in 15 minutes. And then there's a lady, Sherry, forget her last name, who is actually a trainer, a top real estate trainer for huge companies out there. She actually joined EXP while she was there.
and she had no intention of joining.
No,
That-
no, yeah, no
She said-
intention.
She just was
That-
invited as a speaker. And she
Yeah,
said, oh my
and
God, this is
Jesse-
going to kill my business, but it's going to grow my business. So
Yeah, and Jesse
Yeah.
She was
Sikorsky,
crying after
Gary
she
Johnson,
signed her
yeah.
LOI.
yeah,
Yeah,
and she,
I
yeah,
know.
she was crying. She was crying with joy, and just again, just phenomenal. And so you know, all this is all about, you know, one of the things that you learn at these events, and is don't be tied to any results. Just constantly pour into people. Pour into people. That was what Jesse's point was. Just reach out and say hi. Just develop that relationship. This is a relation built business. It's all about relationships. And I know Jamie and Steve, I mean, we had conversations. Those guys are phenomenal at building relationships with people. And, you know, everybody we talk to, you know, you just see, you know, look at Brent. I mean, you know, he just pours out to people all the time. Obviously, these people do not have to be doing this, but they just love what they do. They're passionate about it. And the person with the highest energy wins.
I agree.
The person with the highest energy, and that I come to these, and these events happen just when you need them. You know, when you think you don't.
Totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
And I just want to share with the group. My cousin was with me, and she just got a real estate license in Rhode Island.
Mhm.
And I think she
Never.
went up to Clark's wife. What she couldn't grasp was why people in a group would just pour their heart out and tell their story, the most intimate details. We had one person, and I'm not going to say who it is, so if you were there, let's just keep that anonymous. They asked, and this is the only time they did this, they asked to turn the cameras off and for everyone to put down their phones, because it is going to be coming out. But they shared how they were broke, how they had nothing, and all they wanted to do was to get to build. And that's the Brent Gove event. And they wanted to get there because Tony Robbins was the speaker. And if you guys don't know this, that's $1 million speaker, guys. And
Right.
that's a check that Brent writes, that he doesn't have to help agents. But they prayed about it. They visualized it. They got there. They found a ticket. Somebody said they're not going. Does anybody want this ticket? He got a ticket. He slept in his car for 3 days at the event. And what got me choked up was the fact that our CFO got COVID. She had to leave. The room next to me was prepaid and empty because it was non-refundable. And this person had so much passion, so much drive that they said, I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to be on stage in 6 months after that. And now I can't tell you where their life is going, but it was showing up to be in the rooms, doing whatever it took to be surrounded by the people that they knew that could lift them up. So that will be coming out later. But sharing, Clark, your wife, my God, she opened up intimate details. So this is where Grace was asking, why would you do that? And why would you share horrific things that have happened to you in front of people? And that was filmed. That's going to be out there. It's because our culture is different. We're not a gossip company. We are a pick you up, lift you up. What can we do? And we want everybody to know that things are happening to them. So please thank her for speaking and being honest. David, you blew me away with when you got up and spoke. So tell us about some of the moments that you took away and what
Sure.
resonated with you.
Sure, appreciate that. I would say the first one is, you know, especially as we're building out our organization, no one is unrecruitable was a big one for me, right? I mean, we had several people get up that were like, hey, we owned a brokerage, or my dad owned a brokerage, been doing this 30 years. Like there's no way we were ever going anywhere.
Century 21.
Yep. And then they came over, right? Like it just made sense. You know, Dylan, talking with him, like he was doing great at Coldwell Banker. His mom was a broker. Looking at his story, like no reason for him to come over, right? In most people's minds, he was doing 20 to 30 deals a year, but the no reason to come over. If you look at Dylan's stats now, they've got 100 agents across 4 islands in Hawaii. He did, I think, $265 million worth of business last year, right?
Mhm.
You think that's a little different for him than selling 30 deals by himself, right?
Right.
So there was that. For me as a team lead, with my wife, one of the takeaways too, and I've had this before, but it was just a reinforcement, was a lot of teams struggle, right? We're in our I would say our second full year, maybe going on our third full year now of building the team. We're comparing ourselves to a lot of people's chapter 5 and chapter 20, right? Which is not very healthy to do. But as we talk with folks, like, we're expressing some of our frustration, some of the stuff that we're going through, and just being very vulnerable with folks. As a team lead, for example, we made less this last year when I look at it after expenses in real estate commissions than my wife did in 2019 as a solo agent, doing 5.8 mil. Right.
Mhm.
It's not as profitable as some people think, or as our team members think. But being able to share that with people and talk with them about, what they've gone through, and, hey, you're in that phase. I went through it too. This is where my team's at now. These are the things that we did to change that, that type of thing. That was very helpful. Also, I mean, this is a common theme, I would say, and it's not like you have to go through this stuff to be a top producer or to make it in life. But when you listen to folks, one of the common themes across everyone is, it doesn't matter what you've gone through in life, you're capable of achieving your dreams. Right. I mean, there were people that shared horrific scenarios that they've gone through. I didn't share my backstory in my childhood, but I have a, not so great childhood and all that stuff too, sleeping in the car at times and all that stuff. But you find that people that have gone through those traumatic events in life become very driven,
Mhm.
right? Very focused on their goals. And when they see that it's achievable, they'll do anything that it takes within, legality and morality, obviously, to get there. But they have that fire in them, because they see the possibility for themselves and to provide better for others. Um, the the other takeaway that I would give, I guess, is, again, there was a lot of vulnerable stuff shared. Vulnerability creates emotion and creates relationships, right?
Mhm.
So keep that in mind when you're talking with clients as well, right? We don't always have to be so polished and just salesy and to the point, right? I mean, just having vulnerability, empathy, that type of stuff goes a long way. But the big thing is, this was our first Maui event. I'm very happy that we went. My understanding is it's possibly the last one. So I'm happy that we were there. We're unfortunately not going to make it to Cabo this year just due to timing, but we do plan on trying to make it to Cabo next year. That's a big goal for us. I like Cabo and I like these events, so that sounds great. But get to events, like was just said, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you have to do, and this is a frustration that I have with, partner agents and team agents and all that stuff. Like, even in years where we weren't doing great, we were, or as good as we wanted to, we were going to events, right? And you go because you need to be in the room. You go because you need to feel the energy, and the energy is completely different coming across the screen than it is being there, right?
Exactly.
And also the relationships are completely different. And there's people that I had as Facebook friends before this event that I was connected to with EXP that we would maybe message every now and then, or maybe we didn't even message at all, right? But we went to this event and we're like, I know who that person is. Or they're like, hey, I got you on Facebook, and you get to chatting and you become close at the event. You're hugging each other. You're sharing secrets, right? You're eating meals together. It's completely different than, Zoom is great and everything else, but it can only take you so far. Being in the rooms, getting to the events, proximity is power. I asked both Gene and Brent to do a video the last day that we were there, right, when we were having breakfast. And both of them did a quick video with me, right? Whatever topic I wanted, they're like, hey, what do you want to shoot? Told them real quick, then we shot the video and we're done. Now I have a video with, 2 of the top people in all of EXP. I've had the same experience with Glenn Sanford. I think I've done 2 different videos with him at events, just at EXPCon. You see him walking around, hey, Glenn, can we do a quick video? If he's not rushing to the next spot, he will happily jump on and do a video with anyone.
David, I just want to jump in there on that. And I'm not saying anything about my other company. However, if you ever went up to GK and asked
Yeah.
him, you can't even get at him.
Right.
And some of these other companies in leader, they're off in a world. They don't want to be with the people. They're sitting up
Yep.
here. And just so you know that Glenn is going to be there in Cabo, so is Michael Valdez. And
Yep.
Cabo is not an EXP event, guys. This is Brent and Jean writing another check. Brent was out a few $100,000 last year, and he wants to do it again. It's because of what you're saying, that rising tides raise all boats. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. And it's the servant leadership, right? So, I mean, I see it from Brent. I see it from Gene. They obviously don't have to do these. Like, they don't even have to show up. They could go quietly into the night. No one would complain. It's their right to do so, right? But they keep coming to these events. Quite frankly, Glenn doesn't even need to show up at his events, right? He could have other people show up for his proxy. But I think it's very telling when you see people do things where there's not a lot of folks around, right? In the military, we're very big on integrity, right? And integrity is doing the right thing when there's no one looking. And I saw at one of our first events, and it was very telling for me, a scenario with Glenn Sanford. He was going to get in a room, which was the champagne toast room for News Story, I think it was. So if you donated, you could go, right? And we donated so we could go and be around leaders and donate to a good cause. And I was outside the room, and he was trying to get into the room, and the event worker, who's not an EXP person, doesn't know who Glenn Sanford is, right? Stops him. Hey, sir, you need your badge. Like, you don't have a badge, you can't get in here. And instead of being like some people, like you mentioned, probably would have been, and getting all mad and everything else and shouting at the person or whatever, don't you know who I am? That type of thing. His response was, oh, I'm sorry, I must have forgotten it. Let me go get it. And he goes to start to turn away to walk to go get his badge, find someone that has a badge for him. And someone pops out of the room and they're like, I'm sorry, he's with us. This is the founder. He's good to go. Right. But he wasn't standing there like, I'm the founder of this company. Don't you know who the heck I am? Like, come on now. Right. So that to me was just very telling from the very beginning with EXP. And that has shown up in every scenario I've seen with leaders and people willing to give back.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. David, so sitting there in these rooms, and you've been to many, many different events with different companies. We've only got a couple of minutes. Tell us what your takeaway was, what you saw from an outside non-agent perspective of the sharing and some of your, besides playing golf, because we all know these events are about playing golf.
We did play a lot of golf, like every day.
Every day.
I mean, the events didn't start till 3, so that was cool. Kind of like what David just said about the unrecruitable thing. I was unrecruitable. Gene and I go way back, and to, it was Keller Williams days, and we were doing lunch and learns in my office when there was 400 EXP agents, and he wanted me to meet another mortgage company, and I was like, Gino, I'm not going anywhere. And he said, yeah, but just meet these guys. So he sent Rob Flick and Scott Lewis to my house in Colorado in the summertime. We're up there. And it's a running joke now, because I told those guys, listen, the only reason I'm taking this meeting is because Gene wanted me to, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm literally unrecruitable. And 6 months later, I left, right, and joined this group and all that. But so to that point, I mean, you can call anybody, right? I mean, because you just don't know. You can take the 15 minutes that Jesse had us just texting people that Jamie was talking about, and just texting people to say hi. It's a conversation starter, right? And so just go. And so if your mindset is right, you mentioned Tony Robbins. He said, if you're in your head, you're dead. So you just got to get out of your head and just do it. And then once you start doing it and seeing that people, they're all just like us, and they'll take your call or they won't. But once you start getting that momentum, that's the key to success. Somebody in Maui said the key to success is momentum. Progress before perfection. It's just, the 7 C's I wrote down. I can't remember who said the 7 C's: commitment, communication, consistency, challenges, change, crazy, and community. So there was a ton of really good takeaways, a really good relationship building, because we're all in the relationship business. And so when I watch, we're having a lot of success with building these branches, and when my guys that are calling brokers and team leaders, it's been fun to watch him. I mean, he has zero call reluctance now. I mean, zero. And because he doesn't care, and he'll just keep following up, but he's getting such good response and setting these meetings up that it's gone completely out the window. So it's a combination of the activity, the success, and then quite frankly, just doing it and time blocking. That's it.
And, yeah. And what I loved that the common theme was too is stop listening to other people. There was not one person in that room who was saying, oh, I can't do this, or my production or whatever. Just do it. Just write hey in a text. Stop making excuses. Get out of your head. If you're in your head, you're dead. And
a great one there was just do it long enough to not suck at it. I think it was Steve McCarthy that said that.
Yep. Just do it long enough not to suck at it. So I know Tammy shared some things. Tammy, I'm going to give you another 60 seconds because then I want to open it up to questions real quick. Is there anything in the next 60 seconds you could tell me that was burning that you want to share?
I mean, honestly, just being there, the table talk, sitting with people, taking notes. I sat next to the AI guy. He's literally on my phone telling me what to do. I'm taking giant notes. I wouldn't have gotten that from him. And it was something that he didn't share with everyone. I just happened to be there at the right time. And that happened. And then sitting next to another couple people in the mornings, taking notes if I had questions. And I love hearing all the speakers. I like what Jamie said. I liked all the stories. I took notes on everything, and it was just like grassroots stuff too. You know what I mean? Like the 15 minutes, the power of 15 minutes. You need to be coachable. You need to be willing. You need to be hungry. All that stuff. The secret: don't quit until you get a little better every day. It's just very motivational as well. Basic stuff. Kindness goes a long way. There were so many, just the aura of everyone in the room. But then we also talked about struggles and frustrations, and everybody, it was just so real. But depending on where you are with your business, if it was basically too about, like, they talked about marketing, they talked about all kinds of stuff, whether it was recruitment for EXP or a business plan, like sharing little things. Like the young girl from Maui, gosh, I can't remember her name, Justice Pang, how she would grace through real estate. I love how she talked about, having winning and gratitudes, just basically just so motivational on so many levels, not just as well as specifics with the business. Now my dogs are going to get rowdy. I have 3 little puppies here. But anyways, yeah, it was just being there. Again, the energy was most important. And of course I met a new friend, Peggy's cousin, Grace, and we did a lot of fun things as well. Don't forget, when you go to these things, making new friends, but also just very grateful of the energy. And it was just so uplifting, and it was whale season. So we got to see a lot of whales.
So Tammy, thanks. I want to jump on something that you said, the kindness. Are you the agent that has the zip ties in the back of your car, that when you see a sign where something is hanging off or it's not right, are you the agent that's going to get out there and help fix that sign? Are you the agent that when you're driving around and open house signs are blown over, are you the agent that's going to get up and fix that agent's signs for them? We set a pace. We are leaders. We are owners of a company. There's no other company like this. We have the ability to change lives with business growth, financial, so many different levels. None of that matters if we don't come from kindness. If we really don't realize that it doesn't matter what brokerage we're at, we all need to help each other. And that was so exciting because that was a theme from everybody all around. I mean, yes, people, when the fires happened, people said, oh, you guys are going to go to Maui. You guys are going to go to Maui. There's nothing to do there. Hell yeah, there's something to do there. There were 300 displaced people living in that hotel. The girls behind Starbucks, I got a text from one of my friends who worked for FEMA, and she had just left there. And she said to me, Peggy, please tip the girls in the morning at Starbucks extra because they're living in a hotel and they've lost everything. Everybody was there helping everybody. They were kind. We were pouring into them. They were so appreciative of us being there. So yeah, we could have been one of those other groups that said, oh, we're not going to go to Maui. There's no restaurants. There's no that. We changed lives there. We helped those people. We're a very generous group. And I just can't say enough about that. Make sure you share your experiences. Make sure you're telling your story. You know, Clark, I'm going to go back to your wife, just one of the many stories. Mickey, you've shared your story at other things and in the retreat. You know, David, just what you came on here right now. You want to be the best that you can be. Well, production is great. Listings are great. Icon awards are fabulous. All of that is amazing. But what it comes down to is that you have no idea what somebody else is struggling with, and they might be scared to death. And you sharing your experience, and that's what I was trying to explain to Grace, is that when we share our experiences, that comes from contribution, that can give that person that, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one. I can do this. I can move forward. Help a new agent. Don't be that biatch on the other side of the contract because you've got somebody that doesn't know what they're doing and you think that you're better than they are. That's not who we are. There was more talk it's the meetings after the meetings, right, guys? You know, it's who you are with. Make sure, please, that you have your value proposition. How many of you have real value proposition? You know, how many of, yeah, you do. How many of you right now, and we don't have time, but how many of you could say, okay, this is my value proposition? I'm just going to pick Nikki out for a minute because every single person that she went to, she wanted to become the referral partner around the country. She wants to be around the world in referrals. She lets everybody know that I'm going to take care of your clients and I entrust in you that you're going to take care of mine. Right, Mick? It's all about that. Jamie, you and Steve came up. Your sons were there. Your boys got to see their parents up on stage and speak. And they were so shy right there, but you could tell they were so proud. And when you brought them up and you put your arms around them, that's what this is all about. So yes, we sell real estate. Yes, we're into production. Yes, we're into helping people with mortgages. Yes, we're into mentoring and telling our stories and serving our country. And yes, we're into holding our dogs. And Brad, I saw you earlier brushing your daughter's hair. Damn, that's what it's about. Come as you are. Share your life experience. We're human here. We're not a bunch of fake people on Zoom. We all get our hands dirty. We all do what we have to do. Right, Brad? I love when your daughter comes on the Zoom. I don't know where Ashley is today, if she's on mute or whatever, but Ashley, I love when your dog jumps up on you. You know, Kevin's sitting there in his office, man, you are comfortable. You thought I wouldn't call you out today. You know, Tracy, we all get into everybody's stuff. You just did an event. Tanya came to your event. Holly, your son just kind of said to me, oh my God, I've never been here. Well, I want to tell you guys, we are having another retreat and it's coming up very quickly. It is going to be at Jean and Susan's lake house. I can't promise you that they're going to be there, but if you are interested, take down my cell phone, 860-638-7944. We've got 2 houses. It is the first full week in May. So it will be our 2nd annual retreat. Let me just give you those dates real quick. You are going to arrive on the 5th or 6th of May. We're going to be out by the 9th or 10th. We're just kind of getting those dates. If you are interested, please text me today so we can talk about the details, because I know there were a lot of people who were there last year. It sold out and we have great coaches, but I want to thank everybody because I know we're over. I'm sorry. Thank you everybody for being on this call. You always show up. You're always giving back. We are here every single Wednesday morning. You never know who's going to pop on. Phil's going to be here on the 21st. Anybody want to say one quick thing? Ooh, quiet.
I'll say something right quick, Peggy. If you're not able to go to Cabo, I know that's only a month away, start planning to meet us in Miami. They've just opened up the first hotels. We've got amazing discounts. There's one hotel, it's like $160 a night. So if you haven't done it yet, do it, make the investment in yourself and in your business.
Love it. Love it.
Also, one thing,
Yes.
if you can't make it to either one of those, you don't have the money, the regional rallies are in April. Go to the
Okay.
regional rally in your area. I know in Cincinnati, all the way to Cincinnati, Glenn Sanford is coming to Cincinnati and Elizabeth Riley. So go to your local rallies and you can meet amazing people. So, you know, that's a great place too. And like you said, rub elbows, be in the room.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Make it an amazing week. I'll see you all next Wednesday. Please keep coming back. Love it. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Went too fast today.
It did. Thank you so much, Peggy, and everybody who shared today from Maui. Really appreciate it. I hope to meet you all one day. I have to meet you all.
David, Jamie, everybody else, thank you so much for being on
Thank
here.
you,
My friend
Peggy.
Gary in Florida, haven't seen you in years. Love you guys. See you
Thank
later.
you.
Take
Thank you
care.
so much.
Thanks.